In this video, I'm going to let you know what the quietest electric toothbrush is, as well as sharing with you some important information to help you select a quiet electric toothbrush. Hey, it's John from Electric Teeth here. We assist you in selecting the right dental care products and understanding common dental healthcare topics. I'm not going to waste any time and I'm going to give you the key information first. The quietest electric toothbrush that I have ever tested at the time of recording is this. It's the Oclean X Pro Elite. Now, Oclean claim that it produces just 45 decibels of sound when in use, and to be fair, in my hands-on testing, it's not far off. I actually recorded a maximum sound of 48 decibels. Now, the exact decibel reading can vary, and that is based on the environment in which the testing is taken place, how far the decibel meter is from the toothbrush itself, the different cleaning modes and intensities, and then you have the decibel meter itself. Now, for my testing, I'm just using a fairly cost-effective decibel meter that I was able to buy online, and I hold the meter around about 6 inches away from the toothbrush. I then run it through all of the different cleaning modes, making sure that I record the highest level of sound that I get from that toothbrush. So it may be that the Oclean X Pro Elite does actually run 45 decibels, but the highest sound I got from it was 48. Now, at the time of recording, I've tested in the region of 150 different electric toothbrushes from a wide variety of brands, and the Oclean X Pro Elite is definitely the quietest by around about 10 decibels. Now, this can of course change, and I will be keeping an up-to-date list of the quietest electric toothbrushes on the article that accompanies this video, linked in the description. So if you want to see the latest situation, please do click that link. So if sound is really important to you, I do recommend the Oclean X Pro Elite. It is overall a very good electric toothbrush. It cleans the teeth well and is generally very good value for money. So whilst the Oclean X Pro Elite is the quietest electric toothbrush on the market, it is not necessarily my top recommendation overall. It is a very good electric toothbrush and I would happily recommend it. However, the best overall electric toothbrush can vary depending on which country you're in. And that's because when it comes to recommending the best overall, I'm looking at more factors other than just the sound itself. So at the time of recording, the best overall electric toothbrush in the UK and Europe is the Oral-B Pro 22500, and in the US it's the Oral-B Smart 1500, and they produce a sound in the region of 75 to 76 decibels when in operation. So let's take a little bit of a further look into what affects the sound of an electric toothbrush. Well, first of all, we have to understand how electric toothbrush works. Now, I'm not qualified to take you through all of the intricacies of how an electric toothbrush works, but fundamentally you have a battery built in which takes an electrical current and transfers that to a mechanical motor inside the toothbrush handle. And that motor delivers movements to the bristles on the brush head. And as a consequence of transferring this electrical current through to physical movements in the bristles, sound is produced. Now, the amount of sound does vary between different electric toothbrushes, and there can be different factors that affect the sound. So from the overall design of the electric toothbrush, the internal components, whether there's been soundproofing considered. If there is more space within the toothbrush handle itself, it's more likely to have an impact on the sound and generally be louder because there's more chance for echo and vibration. The quality of parts can have a bearing as well. So as a consequence of this, it's not possible to say that one product will definitely be quieter than another. But as a general rule, sonic electric toothbrushes, such as those produced by Philips Sonicare, do tend to be quieter than those oscillating rotating electric toothbrushes, such as those produced by Oral-B. And this is all to do with the frequency of sound. As a very rough guideline, At the time of recording, you can generally expect a 10 decibel difference between sonic and oscillating rotating electric toothbrushes. Now that's a very rough guide, but typically you'll find the likes of the electric toothbrushes from Oral-B will be louder than those sonic electric toothbrushes from the likes of Philips Sonicare. Now there are a number of different factors, as I've intimated, that affect that sound. And in fact, in 2020, Oral-B introduced the i-O, a premium electric toothbrush, which is quieter than the vast majority of their other models. However, it's still not as quiet as the vast majority of sonic electric toothbrushes. Now, some may think that spending more on an electric toothbrush will actually result in a quieter electric toothbrush, and that is definitely not the case. The O-Clean X Pro Elite is actually one of the most cost-effective electric toothbrushes available on the market, and it's the quietest, so it doesn't necessarily correlate that the more you spend equals a quieter electric toothbrush. Most has to do with the actual motor and the physical construction of the toothbrush itself. So many people do wonder, is there an opportunity to make your existing electric toothbrush quieter? And the answer is yes. Now there are a few different options you have here to make your toothbrush quieter, and I have to say that none are ideal. Probably the easiest option is to actually wrap your toothbrush handle in something like a towel, a flannel, or some sort of soft material, and that in turn absorbs some of the sound that the toothbrush produces. Generally speaking, the softer the material, the better it is for absorbing the sound. Now, in my testing, I have found that generally you're going to find about a 5 decibel reduction in the sound of the toothbrush when you've wrapped the handle in something. The knock-on effect of that is that the toothbrush generally becomes much harder to actually use. So you've reduced the sound, but you've actually made it harder to brush your teeth because you've now got this material wrapped around the toothbrush handle. Affecting the sound also can be the room in which you use it. So many bathrooms are tiled. Tiles are hard and they tend to bounce sound off more aggressively. They don't absorb the sound. Whereas if you're in a bathroom with lots of fluffy towels and soft furnishings, for example, that's more likely to actually absorb the sound and make the sound of the toothbrush quieter. So although you can do a couple of things to, in theory, mute or deaden the sound a little bit, none are really practical everyday solutions. And if you are really bothered about the sound of your toothbrush, the only option you really have is to change the toothbrush to a quieter one, or maybe switch to a manual toothbrush, which of course is much, much quieter. Now, there are some additional factors over the physical construction and the motor of the electric toothbrush that could also be affecting the sound, potentially making your toothbrush louder. How clean your toothbrush is can have a bearing. If you've got a lot of toothpaste gunk all around the attachment for the brush head, that could affect how well the electric toothbrush performs and in turn produce more noise as a result. The motor might be having to work harder to actually transfer that current and that movement to the bristles of the toothbrush. The age of the toothbrush itself may have a bearing. Over the years, toothbrush technology and design does improve. So if your toothbrush is 10 years old, it's quite likely that that's going to be louder than one of the newer toothbrushes available today because there have been changes in the overall design and build of the electric toothbrush. The actual brush head you use can make a bit of a difference as well, particularly if you're using third-party or aftermarket brush heads. Now, this is a generalized sweeping statement here, but they're not necessarily all made to the same standards, so it's generally best to stick with the manufacturer original brush heads, but it may well be that third-party brush heads just don't insulate the sound as well, they maybe don't fit as well and therefore cause more sound when in operation. Of course, another factor affecting the sound of a toothbrush could be if the toothbrush has any damage. A fact of life is that a toothbrush may take some knocks, and that may have a knock-on effect to the actual sound of the toothbrush. If internal components within the toothbrush have been dislodged or damaged, it may actually affect how they operate, how the vibrations and the frequencies within the handle transfer to our ears, and therefore affecting the overall sound. So then, to conclude, there is no one complete fix to make your electric toothbrush quieter. There are a couple of options you can try if the sound of the toothbrush is really important to you. However, the ultimate thing you can do to make your electric toothbrush quieter is change it to a quieter toothbrush, notably the likes of the Oclean X Pro Elite. However, I don't recommend, for the vast majority of people, changing your electric toothbrush specifically for it to be quieter, unless it is a massive issue for you, because the reality is the difference in sound really isn't that great. If you've got any comments or questions, please do leave them below. If you found this video useful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and for more videos like this, click subscribe. But until next time, thanks for watching.